good whatever time zone you are in right now, or if you're watching a recorded version, that's fine. To get started, I'm Emily, developer advocate for Linea. We run these like weekly developer workshops highlighting the different tools on Linea. Today we have something really cool. I'm not going to give any secrets out about it, so please introduce yourself, wonderful guest.
GM, thanks for having us already, Emily. Always a pleasure to talk about what we do. So I'm Mark. Anyway, you'll get it from the accent, but I'm French. I live in Portugal, and I'm a director of the Peace Data Association. It's a Swiss association behind the Pyth Network. I'll introduce a bit like in more depth later on, but the Pyth Network is an oracle specialized in price feeds. And so myself, I'm the opposite of a technical guy. I cannot print one line of code, but we'll have Ali later on, a contributor to the Pyth Network. They'll do some demos, and if you have tech cues, we'll be happy to take them. And so for the Pyth Network, I pretty much do everything that is non-engineering, and it's focused on the DeFi aspect. So talking a lot to DeFi apps that use Pyth, so the classic BD marketing and like the whole non-tech you can expect from a non-engineer in the crypto world.
Awesome. Okay, I know you had slides, so I'm going to go ahead and bring them up. And let you take it away from here. What is Pyth? Why is it awesome? Why should we get excited?
Amazing. So first, maybe I'll apologize because before crypto, let's say I was used to PowerPoint, but I kind of joined also the crypto world to avoid those like antiquated system. But I guess rather than just staring at my face for 15 minutes talking, you can at least like get some nice visualization. So anyway, thanks again for having me. Super excited to present you what is Pyth, how it works, what we achieve, who's using us, and many other things. So one of maybe the first thing is like, what's our motto? So very much Pyth is like, if you're familiar or accustomed to traditional finance, we usually use the term like the walled garden of finance. And it's true. Like whether you are on a US exchange or a trader, like it's full of regulation, it's like closed, and us, let's say, mere mortals, are kind of out of this system. And Pyth, the idea overall is to kind of break that walled garden so that everyone can benefit from the best financial data out there. So Pyth is an oracle. So for those of you who don't know, an oracle is a piece of infrastructure that will most of the time enable blockchains to be connected to the real world. And by getting connected, I mean getting information that lives on internet or elsewhere in real life. And smart contracts on a blockchain most of the time need to know whether the price of an asset, what's the weather, and usually they leverage an oracle to bring this data from off-chain to the blockchain so that the smart contract can work. So Pyth, as I mentioned, is an oracle. It is very much focused for DeFi. So we provide, or the Pyth network is like providing about 350 price feeds for various type of assets. We built it in a way so that it can like deliver the closest performance to what TradFi, what traditional finance has. So they all have like nanosecond kind of trading ability. Pyth, we're not yet at the nanosecond level, but we very much built it so that like we're that close. So the first question you might wonder is like, why an oracle and why just financial data? So one thing that many people in the crypto land kind of forget is that financial data is actually super hard to get and super expensive when you want to get it. We're all used to like Block Explorer, which is great because you can like check whatever for free. Like you just like it's a public blockchain, so you can read whatever from it. And same for exchange API. For example, you can connect to a Binance API, a Coinbase API, pretty much for free, and you can get so like the live price of Bitcoin, pretty much. So for crypto, financial data is kind of already accessible easily and freely. But TradFi data can be stocks, it can be ETFs, it can be like treasury data. This is insanely expensive. And actually, while crypto exchange make most of their money from actual trading through fees, exchanges of traditional assets make more money selling data than from their trading. I think SIBO, who is like also a data publisher to Pyth, every year I think they make about 2 billion in revenue just by selling data. Usually selling data to exchange to like professional traders and others. So Pyth, very much we focus on this. It's such a big market and it's so specialized. You have to be like being the best can like what is the meme? There is no second best. So the idea is by being the best there, like first you need to be specialized to deliver something great. And by being the best, you can like maybe not reach 5 billion revenue in the next year, but like actually come closer to that. So very much Pyth at its core is overall like you could, and we'll have a thread, a slide about it. You could envision the Pyth network as the Spotify for financial data. We are not gonna onboard Kanye West or Taylor Swift for information, but we're gonna onboard exchanges or traders that, through their daily operations, create financial data and can then contribute it to the Oracle network. So this, let's say, it's not the artist side, but it's the data side, the supply side. The fuel of the network is those publishers contributing data so that the Pyth price feed works. And on the other side, we don't have like, again, us like just like taking a Spotify subscription, but rather blockchain and DeFi application on those blockchain that will be able to tap into those Pyth network price feeds to make their application work. So overall, the Spotify or Airbnb is always kind of a great analogy because it's very much like enabling two sides of a market to meet, to meet together in the middle. Um, and for example, like DeFi apps need this infrastructure to work, so they'll be willing to pay for it. And so this is through those fees that you get more publisher interested and onboarded. Because you could imagine, like, I'm a trading firm, I know what's the price of Bitcoin at every second, pretty much. And now I can see that if I start contributing this data to the Pyth network, I can make an extra revenue out of it. So this is kind of where we want to achieve with the Pyth network. So just going slightly more into how it works. So here on the bottom, you'll see, and it's accessible to all for all our 350 price feeds. You can get price chart, live prices for many type of assets, crypto, equities, ETFs, commodities, and FX. And overall, these live prices is continuously updated. This aggregate price gets updated 2 to 3 times per second based on each individual publisher input. So on the bottom, on the top, we can see overall how it works. You can see various publisher sending the price of an asset. So here 21, 18, 20. And also you can spot the plus slash minus like and various number. This is what we call the confidence interval. And you can spot it on the bottom, or like the purple line is the price and the bands around is the confidence interval. The confidence interval, you can imagine that, and actually for an asset, there is no like single one price. You can check Bitcoin price on Binance and check the Bitcoin price on Coinbase. The two prices won't match exactly. So this kind of confidence interval, these bands, enable you to like understand that the price of Sol should lie within this band. Usually, I think it's like 1 basis point wide, so it's still pretty accurate. But into like when volatility comes in, when you have for example, an exchange stopping withdrawals, arbitrage come in, it's harder to find like an aggregate price like that is not dislocated. So the confidence interval comes handy by then, where you can see that truly there is uncertainty in the market. And so this aggregated price and confidence interval is constantly generated based on the live inputs from publisher. We have up to 32 publishers on the biggest price feeds. We are looking to double that, so that like the more publishers we get, the more reliable the data gets, and the more secure it becomes. Um, so that's overall how the Pyth Price Feed works. And as I mentioned, the Spotify earlier, who are the Kanye West and Taylor Swift we managed to get, but for financial data. So we have a mix of publishers. You have on one side the exchanges. It can be on the crypto side, it can be centralized exchange. We have Binance, Bybit, and I'm gonna forget many, but Huobi, OKX, pretty much all the big ones that contribute their order book to the Pyth network. We also have decentralized exchange. Decentralized exchange usually, or at least they help a lot with assets that solely trade on chain or in pools like Curve. So if you know staked ETH or wrap staked ETH, liquidity, it's a native on-chain asset. So most of the liquidity lives there. So we need to actually track the data from there. So we do also have dexes like 0x that contribute data to Pyth. And as I mentioned before, we have equity. We also have US accredited exchange that publish data to Pyth. SIBO, the second biggest exchange in the world. IEX, which is, if you're into traditional finance, which is known for like emerging after the flash boys, like the high frequency trading. And we have MEMEX. And on the other side of exchanges, the other breed of data publishers are what we're going to call like financial service providers. And by this, we mean usually private companies that can be like market makers, high frequency trading firm, all the all the mix, or wholesalers like Virtue. And here we have companies kind of either crypto focused or TradFi focused, all the mix. So for example, we have Jump Trading and Jump Crypto that provides data to the Pyth network. Same for Jane Street. For the crypto side, we have QCP, Wintermute, names you've seen here and there. So that's also why, like, it's always hard to kind of attract all these big like artists to your new platform. But today we have managed over the past 2 years to get more than 90. We're super happy with it, and but ideally we want to continuously onboard, go to 200, 300, like any the more the merrier, as always. And as I mentioned a bit before, Pyth itself, we want to have those financial data owners to contribute to the Oracle for various reasons. The first one is actually the legal aspect. If you contribute data that you don't own and make a buck out of it, like arguably some legal questions can arise. Like, are you able to make money out of someone else's job? That's not sure. But the other problem with it is, and actually you have two more, is the latency. That, let's say, if you just check your prices on CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap, usually prices update like just once a minute or once every 10 seconds. And if you're a DeFi app that wants to build like a perpetual protocol to trade any type of assets, if you update your price every 25, 30, or 1 minute every time, people will be able to arbitrage your protocol and pretty much make a buck out of your pocket. So Pyth, we want to get this most streamlined from the source to the blockchain so that we can have prices that match real life the most. Also, as I mentioned, the legal aspect, those companies contributing to Pyth, they own the data, they can do whatever they want with it. And also, the last part would be, and kind of linked towards the walled garden of finance, if you were like as an individual wanting to have the Apple live price, you'd either have to buy some connections or some license from an exchange to kind of listen to their markets, buy a Bloomberg terminal or something like that. And this is going to cost you north of a quarter million per year at minimum. Um, Pyth, having onboarded exchanges and traders of those stocks, ETF, FXs, we are actually able to have them contribute this data. And so that today, I think we have like 50 US stocks price feeds, about 10 ETFs. And Pyth is the only oracle out there that de facto offers equities price feeds. Other oracles, they don't have, so first they don't, and we can see on the bottom, usually they outsource the job to what we call node runners that's going to fetch like data somewhere. But as I mentioned, you cannot get a hold easily to TradFi data. So like legacy oracles are kind of blocked this way. Now more kind of scroll, zooming out and see how like the Pyth traction within DeFi, because overall most our users, about 99% of our users are very much DeFi protocols. Um, so today, I think we are at around 200 apps that have integrated Pyth. We started initially in October, like in 21, early 21, natively on Solana, and since the end of last year of 2022, we actually launched Pyth V2, let's call it this way, that is easily available on now 35 blockchains. And since we've had some marquee name integrating, on the uh, on the slide, you can see Venus, but the biggest might be Synthetics. So earlier this year, Synthetics, for their new perpetual product, integrated the Pyth Oracle, and I think now today they've like compared to their V1 with Pyth, I think they've achieved 20x more efficiency in terms on like feed generated, and they've also like 5x their actual volume traded. So with a better Oracle, you can actually improve your app. Better offering, better kind of product design can actually like, not make or break, but send your app to the next level. And maybe we'll actually have, okay. So some of the names you might know using Pyth, we have former Ribbon, now Aevo, was the number one option vault in DeFi. So pretty much every week they run automated option strategies. And so every Friday morning they use piece prices to settle those strategies. And on Linea, as far as I know, we have two applications using Pyth already. It's two borrow lending. One is Mooncake Finance, and the other one is Linear Build. And last I checked, I think both have like about 2 to 3 million in TVL on Linea. And this is like super cool because, and maybe I'll mention it already, is integrating with Pyth is permissionless. You don't have to DM us, nothing. You can just read the docs and like start interacting with the Spice smart contract. And I am pretty sure that both of these Linea dApps that integrated Pyth, we actually discovered it on their like Twitter or DeFi Llama that they were using Pyth. So it's very cool, but to to be like designed in such a way, but on our end, it's kind of hard to be sure who's using Pyth. So all our kind of number of user KPI are like we try not to estimate too much, but there's always kind of a plus minus maybe 2-5% potential errors. Um, so in addition, so as I mentioned before, we have like 350 price feeds today, and it's very much, and on the timelines you can see on the bottom, like we went from 80 to double in a month, and since October 22, in less than a year, we again doubled the price feeds available. This came as the Pyth V2 arrived, and as we were now able to go on as many blockchain as we wanted, like each blockchain has its like token and like token preference. So we had to kind of match the demand. And on top, And if you've been dabbling into DeFi earlier this year, you might have seen or heard about RWA, real world assets. So it can be housing on a blockchain, but can more traditionally it's like tokenizing, let's say stocks or ETFs or treasury bills. This also has been like booming in DeFi, and we've started working on supporting as many traditional asset price feed just to enable anyone to build whatever he wants on his blockchain. So overall, like Pyth in the past year, I mean, we've managed with our V2 to grow from delivering data to one blockchain to like 35, I think, today, EVM, COSWASM, and Move included. And every week, pretty much, we deploy on a new blockchain. So Linea, if I recall correctly, I think the first day of mainnet, we just deployed the smart contract. And since then, all the 350 piece price feeds are available to anyone. You can at any time ping the smart contract to make a price update for any of the feeds the Pyth network supports. So if you've already been building on Linea with Pyth and haven't reached out to us, please do, because we're always happy to market and like at the end of the day, Pyth is an infrastructure, and one thing I keep repeating is the Pyth success will be derived from the success of the apps that use Pyth. Our goal is to make you the most successful possible, and this is achieved by delivering a great product that we constantly try to improve, and also to just like say market you, have the people know that you exist and that they should try you out. Um, Appendix. Okay, so I have a few more. Actually, just it's going to be KPI, so I'll just go quickly. But here you can see just the increase in integrations. So as we started initially on Solana, it was very kind of constrict, but with the V2, it opened the world of any blockchain. And overall, we've had successes on most of the L2s. Mental optimism, whether it be a ZK or a non-ZK chain, you'll find Pyth there. Mental, ZK Sync, Linea, or Optimism, Arbitrum, you name it. And any pretty much chain coming will likely also get supported by Pyth. And one thing I haven't mentioned yet is we actually do have some off-chain users. Um, Again, circling back to like getting live equity data or ETFs data is like arguably impossible to get for free. With Pyth, we actually provide this data for free off chain. So we have had like about 10 to 20 applications, websites or companies actually integrating Pyth price feeds off chain, just maybe on their website, or if they run like trading bots to just like consume the data. So this is a momentum. I actually don't know which month it is. August. So yeah, so here it just shows a bit of data. One thing that I found particularly cool is the number of client downloads. There has been over 1 million people, don't, not people, because you can download multiple times, but even if you've downloaded 10 times, just saying that 100K people put their hands onto the piece price feeds in some fashion is insanely cool. And kind of what we want to achieve and deliver to people. Like, you have a right to get the best financial data out there. And here we continue on the wheel graphs. So this is kind of the Pyth network captured in one place. In the middle, you have the blockchains, publishers, and all the blockchain we support, and the application. And all these, actually, most of these graphics I'm showing you right now, you can find them into our docs. At the bottom of our docs, we have a KPI or a metric section, and you can find those KPIs and many other stats around the Pyth network. And kind of linked to what will the future hold for Pyth, of our motto is "It will happen." Whatever it is, we don't know, but one thing that you should be on the lookout for is the product has been out there for more than 2 years, and we actually have the white paper on our website, so I won't go too deep there. But the idea is that this network will be fully decentralized, whereby the Peace token holder will be actually in charge of maintaining this data marketplace. So you can expect, as soon as the Peace token launch, to have, and I'm pretty excited about it because it's likely to be the first oracle that's actually going to be governed by its token holders. No other oracle today functions like this. So this is one thing we very much want to deliver on. And later on, as governance kicks in, we'll actually be able to further build the additional layer to make this data marketplace self-sustainable. That's one thing again, and fingers crossed it won't happen. But one thing I keep repeating is our goal is to be able to disappear and this network keeps running without a hinge. So it's very much one thing we're constantly trying is getting those who use Pyth and those who contribute to Pyth to feel as much powerful as possible within this network.
Whoa, that's amazing. I didn't know that. That's very cool. Um,
And I think we can stop here. Maybe I'll just finish on a couple things. Publisher growth. So now we're at 90 publishers. It's harder to find publisher because you only have so much exchanges, and trading firms are not the most easiest to convince, but it keeps growing. And and weirdly enough, I discovered this. You have a big kind of oh, I've just lost the term. They're all following. If they see their competitor doing something, they'll be like, oh, fuck, I'm missing something. So they're going to start doing the same. So it was pretty funny as we onboarded some financial companies. Their competition were like actually contacting us. I want to do the same. Um, and yeah, so here you can see overall now 35, I think, blockchains because we already deployed on like two or three this month. Maybe I'll just mention why we are that much scalable, and Abby will make the demo just after. But Pyth works as an on-demand oracle, meaning that the application themselves will have to do the price updates. So if you know how Chainlink works, Chainlink will set parameters, update the ETH USD price on Ethereum layer 1 every 1 hour or every, I don't know, 10 or 100 basis points. And when you use that price feed, like you just sit on your hands and wait for Chainlink to update it. And you cannot, let's say, ask for something custom. Or fine, you can ask it, it will just cost a fortune. Pyth never pushes price update on your behalf. It delegates the work to anyone. Anyone can permissionlessly fetch a price of chain, send it on your chain to use it. And so this means that we don't need infrastructure. We just need to deploy the P smart contract on the blockchain, and then it's usable by anyone. And this is great because it means that we don't have infrastructure costs, but also don't pay the transaction costs. So that's also why we can offer all price feeds on every single blockchain. Other oracles, most of the time, you have to kind of pick your battles and say, I'm only offering these 50 price feeds. Pyth, wherever you build, you'll get the same product, same integration, and same price feed offering. And I think that might be the actually last one. Yeah, it was the last one.
okay. Well, that's very cool. I didn't know any of this. That's awesome. There's a lot. Maybe just to kind of summarize all of that in one sentence. Um,
TLDR is Pyth is an oracle specialized in price feed for DeFi. It's available 35 blockchain, 350 price feeds, works as an on-demand model. So permissionless to integrate, permissionless to use, and one stat that will be that we're bad at marketing, arguably because people don't know us enough, but one stat to showcase the performance of it is last month we evaluated the total volume done by DeFi perpetual protocol on EVM chains, and 48% of the volume was done through Peace Price Feeds. And the other 52 is not in one competitor, but 10 others. So overall, Pyth is the go-to oracle for fast DeFi or hi-fi DeFi, whatever name you want.
Fantastic, fantastic. Is there, I guess, oracles are very DeFi centric. For someone not wanting to build a DeFi protocol, for example, is there a use case for Pyth?
Not yet. So other oracles offer stuff like automation services or some kind of off-chain computing. For example, the VRF, like verifiable randomness function, where let's say you do a lottery, you just need a random number. Other oracles offer this. For example, Chainlink offers this. I think Pyth very much was designed specifically for Price Feeds DeFi for now, because it's so important. We wanted to have the edge, and if you have an edge there, it's make or break. Um, Other oracles like for Chainlink, I often characterize them more as a gener- generic infrastructure. You can outsource to their nodes any kind of jobs. So Pyth today is very much for DeFi usage. We have couple kind of products in the pipeline. One kind of attuned to even more kind of niche for DeFi, but we've dabbled around releasing non-DeFi related product. But for now, it's kind of on the back burner. But one day, like nothing prevents us to do it. We are keen to do it if it's novel. If we can build a completely new VRF that destroys what others offer, we'll do it. But until we find this like 0 to 100 product, like shipping something mid is not very relevant.
I love to hear that. That's good. Do something well. Don't do a lot of like quality over quantity is what I think the way you put it. So people want to get in contact, learn more. What are like the links, handles, ways to like get in touch?
So you have Pyth.network is the website. On there, on the bottom, you'll be able to find all the Discord, Telegram, Twitter links. I think our Twitter is Pyth Network. But if you want to directly get in touch with us, I think easiest is join the Discord, and like you'll find an admin lurking around all the time at us. After we can, and overall we help with all the troubleshooting, etc. Like so that people can build in peace. So reach out on Discord, Telegram. We'll get on a like channel somewhere or Slack to just help you build. So yeah, give us a follow. It's crypto is always also about the vanity stats. So be sure to join our Discord and follow us on Twitter.
This is true. Oh my god. Thank you so much for that overview. I learned a lot. You guys are growing. I didn't realize you guys were so recent. But I'm going to kick you off and actually bring on Ali, who's going to show us how to actually integrate Pyth into a project. So thank you so much, Mark, for joining. Um,
Thanks,
I will
Emily.
see you later. Okay. Hello. Hi,
Hey,
hi.
Emily.
Okay, cool. I already introduced myself, so please introduce yourself.
Hey, everyone. I'm Ali, and I'm a co-contributor to Pyth. I used to work in Jump Crypto, and in Jump Crypto, I was also focused in Pyth full time, and I'm now very excited that I'm part of Duo Labs.
Okay.
Yeah, and Mark gave all the intro about Pyth. Now I'm gonna like show you how you can use Pyth in your contracts and also off chain for your like front ends and like these stuff. So if that's okay, I will like jump off and like share my screen.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Let me actually do this. Okay. Is my screen shared?
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah,
Emily,
you're
can you
sharing
see
your
my
screen.
screen? Okay,
I can.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. Great. So as Mark mentioned in the end of like his talk, You can reach through our website, Discord, everywhere to ask us questions. A great place to start, like knowing more about Pyth, is our documentation. We provide extensive documentation about everything. You can also see like in which networks we are available on and find our contract address. And yeah, you can find like many more information on how to use us, as well as like what I'm gonna tell you now in this demo. So I'm just gonna show you that like, yeah, we are deployed in Linea, and you can find our contract, and our contract is verified, so you can interact with the contract through the UI. For example, you can get like the latest like price that is updated on chain, and you can also like try to update the prices or do use them like in any way you can. But yeah, I'm gonna like write a code that like interacts with our contract to show you like how that's possible. In addition to that, we offer some SDKs to help you out using our contract. First, we offer a Solidity SDK, which most importantly contains our interface for you to use with a lot of documentation. Uh, Basically, as we are an Oracle, what we do for the protocols is something very primitive and actually very simple. Uh, what most of the protocols need to do is just call the get price method on our contract to get the price that they want to like use further in their contract. So it's actually pretty simple, and any usages of our contract should be simple. On the other hand, we make sure that everything is very smooth and we verify everything beneath. But yeah, you can use our Solidity SDK in your contracts to rely on it and work with our contract. And we also offer a JavaScript SDK to allow you to connect to our off-chain endpoint to fetch the verified prices in an easy way, and it also like update the prices if you want to in a very easy way. So yeah, that's basically what you need in order to use us. There's also one important web page that I'm gonna use in my demo that shows like for each symbol what is their corresponding price feed ID that you need to use in your contract. Yeah, so these are the useful documentation and packages that you can use to build your application. Yeah, let me now jump to the code. Yeah, so for this workshop,
Make it a little
I'm not.
bigger.
Oh
Zoom
yeah,
in a bit. One more.
is it good now?
Yes, that's good for me.
Okay, great. So for this demo, I'm not writing any contract. If you want to see a contract that actually uses Pyth, just go to our documentation and you find a good example. The reason I'm not doing that right now is that we don't have much time to go over a contract, and also you like probably don't need that contract, as in Linea, the Linea team is pushing the prices for some of the symbols regularly to the network, which makes using Pyth even easier. So yeah, let's begin. In this code and in this workshop, I tried to use a VM package to interact with the blockchain. And also, I'm using Bond, which is like a new hype replacing Node.js, to try it out. Unfortunately, the sad news is that it's not working very well. At least it doesn't support everything that I wanted to. But yeah, let's begin. So here I have like written down the addresses that I'm gonna use. The Linea contract address, I just got it from the documentation webpage, and also the price feed ID of Ethereum price. That one also I got from the page that I showed you. And here, so far, I'm just creating some clients to interact with Linea network. Fortunately, VM supports Linea out of the box, so I just like imported the Linea chain from a VM, and I just created like the public like client. I'm also creating a wallet client to actually send some transactions to the networks to update the prices. We will get there later. And for that, I'm using a private key. So far here in this part, I'm just like instantiating the contract using the Pyth API, which is again available in our Solidity SDK. So you can just use it out of the box. I have written this code before this presentation, so I'm gonna just like undo my changes so you can see like the parts that I add. So I'm cheating here a bit, but yeah. So if you want to use our contract to get the prices, we have a method that is called getPriceOnSafe, which returns the price for the price ID that you are looking for. It's very simple. You just call it, you pass the price ID, and it will give you the price. Let me just run it. Sorry. I didn't save it. So as you see, it's pretty simple. Even if you want to interact with our contract using your contract, it's just as simple as like creating a Pyth contract using the Pyth API and calling the getPriceOnSafe. So why we call this onSafe? The reason is that when we return the price to you here, we don't do any staleness check to tell you like whether the price is actually recently or not. So it doesn't tell you like whether the price is new or not. And we call it unsafe because you as a protocol should not use a price that is old. And we do have a same default of 1 minute for the like recency of a price, and that's like what the get price method does. It gets the price and checks if it's like updated within the last minute, it will return it to you. Otherwise, it will revert. I think in the last one, I just updated the price, but I can run it and we can see whether it reverts or not. Yeah. So here you can see that the contracts reverted when I call get price. The reason mostly is that if I go to the contract and you see the transactions, the last transaction was 7 minutes ago. So no price has been updated before that. Actually, someone made something, but that wasn't the Ethereum price. As Mark told you in his presentation, we do not push prices regularly. On Linea, the Linea team pushes the price feeds like on a slower pace to the network, which is like I think every 15 minutes for some feeds and every 1 hour for some other feeds, which is not great if you are, for example, a perp protocol, but might be okay if you are a lending protocol. So instead of like using get price, we also have a method called like get price no older than. And we recommend everyone to use this method because then you can specify your actual like desired staleness. Here I'm using 1 hour and we can see that it will work. Actually, like the last one also works, but I don't know why. But this one is working for sure. Yeah. So yeah, that's the way that you can use us. But what if you want to also update the price and use a more recent price when like you want people to interact with your contract? For that, we offer like some ways that you can get the prices from our off-chain endpoint and then send it to the Linea contract, to our contract on Linea. And for that, I told you we provide a JavaScript SDK that you can use. Unfortunately, our SDK does not work with Bond. I think a library that we use is not supporting Bond properly. So for the sake of this demo, I'm using the API endpoint directly myself. So what is our off-chain RPC? We have like what we call nowadays Hermes. It's a new new off-chain endpoint that we have released that like serves the prices for cross-chain usage. This is not something centralized. It is actually a service that anyone can self-host. So it is not something that we run or we have any control over. This is a service that reads the prices from PythNet, where we aggregate the prices, and Wormhole, where we verify the prices that are like they are like produced on PythNet, and like creates also like a proof that this price is originating from PythNet. And you can run this service by yourself if you go to our docs. So here on Hermes, we have like some like guides on how you can self-host this thing by yourself. And also here we have the API reference for Hermes to tell you like what are the APIs that this service provides, as well as the SDK, which unfortunately doesn't work here. So now here when the SDK is not working, I'm actually calling the endpoint directly. With our endpoints, you can get both the off-chain price, the latest off-chain price, and also get the update data, which is a proof to verify the price that you can use to update the price in Linea. So let me actually run it to show you how it looks like. So you can see that this is the off-chain price. If I actually go and grab this time, you can see that it was like from a few seconds ago. So this endpoint actually like provides you with the prices as soon as they are verified. So it's like up to like only a few seconds ago, and it gets updated at least once per second. So it's pretty low latency and high frequency. And you can use it to update the contract fast and use a very low latency price in your contract. And also this is just like a binary block which contains the price and its own proof, which you will need to update the prices on chain. So yeah, when you get this update data, all you need to do is to call our update price feeds method on the contract. To update the price feeds, it's like just passing the update data that you get from the off-chain endpoint. And you also need to pay a small fee to update the data. This is like to make our protocol sustainable, because like we offer the prices free of charge. We like to charge some fee. Currently, we do not charge anything. It's one way, which is basically nothing. We have like put that to make sure that all the protocols implement correctly with our fee model. So in order to actually do that, you need to first get the update fee for the update data that you get from our endpoint, and then call the contract to update the price feeds with the fee that you need to pay. And that's basically it. And if you do that, then when the transaction is completed, or like in the same transaction, you can get the price and use that price in your contract. So I will do that now. Yeah. So this one is the one that reverted without paying the fee. And now I'm fetching the fee. I told you fee is like one. Here it means it's one way. And it's just now waiting for the transaction to be included in a block. And then I will get the price. Okay. Yeah, and that's basically it. And if you see like the price here is now the price that we got like off chain. It's like 617. Here is 617 as well. And yeah, if you also like look here, the previous price was older and the price got updated. That is it. So you might want to know like how I should interact with your contract when I have my own contract. The way that you can do it is either you get the update data in your contract and pass it to our contract to update it, or you can also use a multi-call contract to first update our contract, and then use the prices on your contract. Um, a good demonstration of that is here. For example, in your contract, you want to like use the USD BTC USD price, and you also pass this update data, and then you call our contract. And after you called our contract to update fee, update the price feeds, then you just get the price. So it's as simple as that. And with the way that we have designed our Oracle, designed the way that you can fetch the prices on demand when you want to use it, yeah, we believe that we can enable the next generation of DeFi applications to get closer to their counterparts in the centralized finance world, because it's high frequency and very low latency. Um, yeah, I think that's it.
Okay, very cool. Wow, that was actually incredibly simple. I was curious, when would someone choose to use like the unsafe price method?
Actually, no one should use that. That's why we call it unsafe, to like ring a bell that you are probably doing something wrong. Um, yeah, but this is something that, for example, Chainlink offers when you get the price from their contract. You often don't get the time that the price was updated, because you always rely that they update like every hour, or like
Mhm.
once the price has changed for some time. So people might just like think that because Chainlink worked like that and the prices would get updated like every minute or so, we can also get the prices without any staleness check. But uh, people should not do that. That's it.
Very interesting. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining. I don't know if I'll bring you back on, Mark, just if there's anything else you guys wanted to announce or say. Otherwise, I'm free to let you guys go. It's Friday. I'm sure everyone's excited for the weekend.
First, again, thank you a lot for having us today. It was super cool. Super excited by Linea. Consensus team being like a forever OG and enabler, like of well, initially Ethereum and many other amazing services. So we're super excited to see how Linea is going to grow, and we hope to help DeFi on Linea to work well and to have like great success. The whole team's super nice, so it's always a pleasure working alongside you. And yeah, so I mentioned before, Discord, Telegram, ping us any issue, any questions, any requests. Like at the end of the day, we succeed if you succeed by building with us. So nothing's off limit. You can always we try to always say yes. 1% of the time we have to say no. We feel bad about it, but we always try to say yes.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Well, I think that is all we have today. Um, oh, what do I call it? Update? No, I don't remember what I was going to say. Whatever. That's fine. Oh, yes, update. Next Friday is ETH Global New York. So Linea will be participating. So if any of you guys will be in New York, come find me there. Let's talk about building DeFi dApps. Maybe we'll integrate Pyth together. Would be very cool. So that's all I have to say. Thanks again for joining, guys. I'm going to end this stream.